Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be installing some Helix 7.5 headlights with LED turn signals into...
Idiot!
Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be installing some Helix 7.5 headlights into my Mk7 Golf Sportwagen. Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Today I'm excited because I finally decided to do something about the halogen headlamps on my Mk7 Sportwagen. There's nothing wrong with the headlights, they work well, but to use generic terms, they're just not as sporty as the rest of the car. And there's a lot of great headlight options out there that for the most part look OEM and work like OEM, but look a lot better. And my solution to that was the Helix 7.5. As you can tell, it's in the all black version. There's no stripes or colors, and I think that's going to look really nice with the accents that I already have going on with the car. I chose this for two main reasons. One, I just really like the aesthetics over these, over some of the other options out there. I liked how OEM they still feel and look. And then also the fact that these use the H7 bulb that's already existing in the halogen headlamps is a big plus because I can try them out or use those. But then there's the option to either upgrade to a LED conversion kit for that low beam, or you can use a Bi-xenon conversion kit as well, I believe. The one thing I wanted to talk about was the price. That's kind of what's kept me waiting to upgrade my headlights. $500 and up for most of the EDs, Helix. Seems like a lot to spend, and it is. $500 is a lot of money. However, you know, once you see all that's involved in the headlight, I mean, obviously you can see that in your car existing, but it made sense. There's a lot that goes into this. These seem overall really well built. They're very heavy. And, you know, if everything works and plugs and plays as it's supposed to, I think it's going to be $500 well spent. But we'll only know by getting it installed, so that's what we're going to do right now. First thing you got to do is take off the front bumper. So I'm going to actually use some footage from a previous shot video that does the bumper, uninstalling the bumper better than I could probably do right now. So we'll start with that, and I'll catch up with you when we get started. Quick spoiler, if you're just here because you want to see what the car looks like now that I have these headlights installed, head on over to 10 minutes and 30 seconds in this video to see the cinematic footage we took. To remove the front bumper, you gotta start by taking off the grille. There's two T25s holding it on either side. Then you can just pry it back and lift it out. Next, remove the three T30 bolts that are holding on bumper brackets behind the grille. Inside the driver's side front wheel well, there's four T25 screws that need to be removed. Then head over to the passenger side and remove the same four screws. Then get under the car and remove all of the T25 bolts that are holding on the front bumper to other trim pieces of the underbody. Make sure you remove these three in the middle as well. Here I'm disconnecting the clips on both sides where it attaches to the fender. This part requires a little bit of finesse and gave me a little bit of trouble, but you want to remove the hardware mounting brackets from the frame. I used a screwdriver to get in there and help release those clips just a little bit. This is when I realized that those three T25s I pointed out in the still frame earlier also needed to come out. And that's it, now you have a bumperless Mk7. So for this install, we're going to be working on the driver's side headlight, and really there's just four bolts and one harness that you have to disconnect to get the lights out. So the first one to remove is a T30 bolt right underneath the fender. Keep that T30 bit handy because that's what you'll be using on the three remaining bolts. We're looking top down now at the engine bay, and this bolt is located just behind the front of the headlight on the left hand side closer to the center of the vehicle. Using a T30 bit, remove the bolt holding on this bracket here. Using the T30 again, you're going to remove a bolt that is just behind the headlight housing, right below the bolt you just removed in the engine bay. Now it's time to disconnect the headlight harness. Simply depress the button to release the clip and pull it out. This might require a little bit of finesse. Okay, you've successfully disconnected everything. You can now go ahead and remove that headlight ever so carefully. Now, since I'm going to be reusing the H7 bulb that's found in my original halogen headlights, here's the process of removing it. Grab a hold of this plastic piece here and turn it counterclockwise and then pull to remove it from the housing itself. Here now you have the power supply or the connector for the H7 bulb with the H7 bulb still installed. Now the key thing here is with halogens, you cannot touch the glass on these because the oils from your hands will cause you to destroy that bulb next time you go to reuse it. So carefully remove that by simply either wiggling or using a small plastic tool to pry it out. Alright, let's prepare the Helix headlight now for installation. The first thing you're seeing me do here is just simply clip some zip ties that are used to help make sure everything stays together and in one piece during shipment, so those can come off. Now it's time to install the H7 bulb we just removed, find the right alignment for that, and then simply use this spring clip here to keep it in place. Now we need to find the power supply for that H7 bulb, which is marked by the black and green wires here. It's simply a press fit connection and you just need to find the right alignment. Here I'm clipping one more zip tie that I found that was used for restraint during shipment. Obviously be super careful when you're cutting these to make sure you don't get any of the wires in there, because that would be a really sad end to your install. Now let's install the rear cover that also houses the control board. So first you're going to want to get all your connectors clipped into place. They're very easily marked and understandable because they are all different sizes, so you cannot plug them into the wrong spot. And then simply secure the back plate with the 5 screws that were provided. Alright, here comes the fun part, time to install these new headlights. Now my first step was to at least temporarily connect the headlight harness to these new headlights to make sure that everything was functioning properly. Here I'm simply going through and cycling through all the different options of low beams, high beams, running lights, and turn signals, and making sure everything's working as expected. Alright, now it comes time to put everything back together and get these bolted in. Now the instructions suggest that you do this by doing it in the same exact order that you took it out. So not in reverse order like you might typically do with an install, but I wanted to get the alignment proper on that fender area first. So I did the T30 under the fender as well as the deep bolt behind the headlight housing, then moving to the bolt up front right next to the radiator, and then finally putting the bracket bolt on last. One thing you're not seeing here is that there are 2 adjustable mounting points on these headlights, just like there are on the OEM ones, to get the right fitment and alignment that you prefer. Now I already messed with those, test fit it back and forth, and found out where I wanted each of those and had that ready before I went and did this install recording. The last thing you have to do is transfer over the set screw that's from your OEM lights onto your new Helix headlights. This mounting point on the Helix headlights is not pre-drilled, so you are going to have to put a little bit of pressure to thread that screw in there. Alright, and the final step is getting that front bumper back on in place and fastened properly, and getting the grille remounted. So that's it. It's a pretty straightforward install. Honestly, the toughest part is taking off and reinstalling that front bumper and the nuances that go with it. The key thing is don't go too fast and don't force anything so you don't break any of the plastic parts that are not easy to replace. I've put this bumper on and taken it off so many times it's become pretty easy, but still just take your time and you'll be just fine. Overall, now that I have these lights installed, it was a great purchase. I'm really happy that I did. Everything works as it's supposed to. The fit and finish was very good. And finally, I love the way they look, and I hope you all do too. At the end of the day, I'm building this car to make me happy, and I love the way it looks right now. So, and to show that all off, I put together a quick little cinematic short here for you all to take a look at. Big shout out to my wife for putting up with her nerd husband and strapping a camera to the back of her car and driving around with me to get some of these rolling shots. One last note is any flickering you see in this video is only due to the fact that there were multiple different cameras used here, and the shutter speeds of some of them were different than the refresh rates of the LEDs in these headlights. So you'll see that flicker from time to time, but just for anyone watching that hasn't seen these in person, you will not see that with the naked eye at all. So please enjoy this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, and please subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content. So let's check it out.